In the heart of southern Nigeria, there existed 3 villages: Ikot, Ekpene, and Obot. For as long as anyone could remember, these villages had been embroiled in a cycle of violence and bloodshed. The people of Ikot, Ekpene, and Obot had grown accustomed to the sound of gunfire and the scent of smoke. Their conflicts often stemmed from petty disagreements which would quickly escalate into full-blown battles. The villagers had become experts in the art of war, with each side convinced they were fighting for their very survival. But amidst the chaos and bloodshed, there was another more sinister force at play. The federal government had discovered that the land beneath the 3 villages was rich in gold, a valuable resource that could bring immense wealth and prosperity to the region. However, the government had no intention of sharing this wealth with the villagers. Instead, they sought to exploit the long-standing conflict between Ikot, Ekpene, and Obot to their advantage. By fueling the flames of discord, the government had hoped to create a power vacuum that would allow them to swoop in and claim the gold for themselves. But the villagers were not aware of this sinister plan. They continued to fight and kill themselves, oblivious to the fact that they were being manipulated by the government. It wasn't until a young woman named Ekaite from the village of Obot decided to take a stand that the tide began to turn. Ekaite was a brilliant and fearless lawyer who had lost her family to the senseless violence that had plagued the region for so long. Determined to bring peace to her community, Ekaite began to mobilize the villagers, urging them to put aside their differences and work together to defeat their common enemy, the federal government. It wasn't an easy task. Years of hatred and mistrust had created a deep-seated divide between the villages. But Ekaite persevered, using her knowledge of the law to expose the government's sinister plan and rally the villagers to their cause. As the villagers began to see the truth, they slowly started to put aside their differences. The people of Ikot, Ekpene and Obot came together, united in their determination to fight for their rights and protect their land. With Ekaite at the helm, the villagers launched a legal battle against the federal government, demanding that they be allowed to control their own resources and develop their very own community. It was a long and difficult fight, but in the end, the villagers emerged victorious. The court ruled in their favor, declaring that they had the right to manage their own resources and develop their own communities. The victory was a turning point for the villages. As they celebrated their triumph, they realized that they had more in common than they initially thought. The people of Ikot, Ekpene, and Obot began to work together, sharing their knowledge and skills to develop their community and create a brighter future for themselves and their children. And Ekaite, a young woman who had dared to challenge the status quo, was hailed as a hero. Her bravery and determination had brought peace and prosperity to the region, and her name would go down in history as a champion of justice and equality. Years later, as the villagers looked back, their thriving communities, they would remember the wise words of Ekaite. United we stand, divided we fall. Let us put aside our differences and work together to build a brighter future for ourselves and our children.